Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
This week is going to be quite an interesting week. I have done my best to gather information that will help you individually. And I went off your Survey Monkey responses, but I mean, there's nothing set in stone. So this week we are going to be looking at colleges, and we will be looking at the cost of colleges and the types of classes you can take. So, I understand decisions change. Today you may want to be a doctor, tomorrow you may want to be an astronaut or a mechanic. That's fine. I understand that. You can go and do whatever you want. But the main focus for this week is for you to develop a class schedule that you can take to your advisor and help you get excited about the fall semester. Fortunately for you, even if you don't know exactly what you want to do, you don't really need to declare a major until your junior year. So you can kind of start getting all of those general ed classes out of the way until you find your path. So this unit, we're going to kind of look at what some of those general classes are, and we'll look at some of our degree plans that we have kind of made notations that we are interested in and seeing where their similarities are so that you could take, let's see, if you started off with English class or English major as your choice, you can go through and take some of the classes, and then you might want to change it to an art major. You're going to find a lot of the same classes on both of those degree plans, so you'll be all good. So when you transfer your degree to another, college or whatever, you'll still have taken those classes that you needed to take for regardless which degree you were in. So, what we're going to be doing is breaking this week into two parts. The first part is we're going to review your degree plan, and I have handouts of different degree plans, and it also has sample course sequences that you can follow. And I also have them uploaded onto Blackboard in your resource folder. So if you find another school that you want to go to, I am going to let you start looking for those degree plans because I kind of did a lot of work for you already. But now I want you to kind of start researching and looking at the websites of the colleges that you plan to attend to. Right now I'm looking at SDSU for Matthew, and then SDSU for Kaylee, as well as Black Hill State. But I'm only going to focus my attention on one of them. So you're going to have to tell me which one you really, really want to work on. Because for me to do this information, it kind of helps me to do it if I only have to do it one time. If I have to do it 4 times because you keep changing, it just becomes a big mess for me, and that's really not my job. It's kind of to get you started on it. And so once you understand how to manipulate SDSU's website, you should be able to take this to Harvard, Cornell, any school you really want to find the information that you want. I'm just going to kind of get you started. And hopefully, if you stick with this one and you go to SDSU, you'll be all good. You can take your degree plan to your advisor, and you'll be all set. The second bullet on part 1, we're going to figure out your 4-year tentative schedule. Like I said, SDSU was awesome, and they give you a sample schedule for 4 years. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow them to the letter. It just kind of breaks it down of, these are the classes that are offered when, these are the best times to take them. But if you want to change them up, you certainly can, especially if you've already taken some classes as dual credit. You probably want to add some other classes in there to kind of get things going faster. We are going to also develop your fall 2017 schedule. This will help you when you go down to register, because you'll already have gone through most of the stuff that your advisor will go through the other newbies, or incoming freshmen, we call you. And so you kind of will have what you want already mapped out, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to find the right classes that will fit for you, and you'll get them done early and soon. Because we know that the best classes always get filled first. Part 2, we're going to look at the cost of college. Now, even though, you get accepted to a college does not necessarily mean that you can afford to go to that college. College costs a lot of money, especially if you really don't know what you're going to end up being, and you waste a lot of time just taking classes just here and there and not really having a goal in mind. It becomes really expensive because you end up taking classes you don't need. So we're going to look at college costs, and we're going to find some creative way of financing those costs, whether it be through loans, grants, scholarships, jobs, etc. We will look at how much it costs to go to college. This includes tuition, room and board, and things of that matter. Now, Monday, the first thing you're going to do before you do any of your college research is you're going to take 3 little assessments. There's no right or wrong answer. It's kind of an assessment to show me and to show yourself how prepared are you for college and what kind of learning style and what kind of study habits do you have that will help you be successful. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into Blackboard, and the first one in let's see, in week 2, you're going to have this. You'll only see these 2 up here. You won't see that yet. So you're going to click on online assessments. After you open up online assessments, it's going to give you 3 different assessments that you're going to complete. Now, the 3 assessments, like I said, no right or wrong answer. You're going to select the bubble that best represents you. After you've gotten it finished, make sure you type in your name where it has a name spot. You're going to print 2 copies of your results. You will keep one. This will go into your portfolio, so you need to start keeping these things for your end portfolio, and then you're going to turn one of them into me so I can look at it as well. And this is the same thing for what's your learning style and your study habits and how can you improve. So I'm going to click on one just to kind of give you a snippet of it. Okay, so this is the first one. What kind of student are you? You're going to make sure you type your name into the name part. Then you go through and you answer the questions. There are 3 boxes you can choose from. There is mostly true, sometimes true, and not true. I want you to answer the question honestly. I mean, it's, again, no right or wrong answer. It's for yourself. Honestly, before you scroll down and look at the bottom where the scores are. So don't even look at that yet. Just answer those 3 questions right here, or answer these questions and these 3 choices, and then you'll figure out by giving yourself points what your total points are. So now we're going to be looking at course catalog. So you'll probably start this on maybe the end of Monday, maybe Tuesday. What you're going to do is you're going to look at that stack of papers I gave you with different degrees and different degree plans. Now it may seem confusing, and this is where you will have the opportunity to come in during this class to ask me questions, and I'll sit down and I'll go over things with you. My first and second hour, they are working on module work, so they would pretty much be on their own, so I'm able to have, conversations with you. You may already have looked through these and you probably understand them, and if that's the case, awesome. But I still kind of want you to come and see me just to see if we're on the same page and things like that. So once you go through and you kind of get an idea of what degree plan you want to follow, or what degree plan you at least want to start off with, then we can start looking at the course catalog and looking at the different classes you get to take. Now, this is really fun for me because I kind of get to see the different classes that are offered in different schools and kind of reminisce about the classes that I took. But be aware that the course catalog that we're operating off of right now is the 2016-2017 course catalog, and it has not been updated online. So more than likely your degree plan will be the same. They rarely change them year to year. Sometimes they may add or drop a class or 2, but pretty much they stay the same. So I think we'll be fine working off of this year's and not next year's course catalog. But just keep in mind, whatever catalog you start off with, so if you start off next year with the 2017-2018 course catalog, that book, you should keep it because you need to keep this book. Hopefully you get one hard copy at school when you go to register. That catalog is what you will follow your entire college career. So it does not matter. Maybe in 2 years they change your degree and you have to add 5 other classes, it does not matter, because the course catalog that you're starting off with your freshman year is the one you will follow until you graduate. It doesn't matter if there's any changes later on. You will follow the degree plan that you started off with, so just keep that in mind. Now, with that said, we're going to look at different information that you'll find when we look at some courses. I'm going to break this down for you so you can kind of understand what all of this means. So this is an example right here of a course description that you'll find in the actual catalog that tells you about each class. And so the first one right here is your prefix. And I have a chart of all the abbreviated prefixes that you can look at, but basically it just tells you what college and what course this is. So for instance, this is an English course. The 2 is your course number. So if you were taking English 101 instead of the 283 there, that would be that. So that is just the number. It's the it just tells you basically a couple of things. It tells you what level of instruction it is, and it tells you where in the sequence that you should take things. So for instance, you would definitely take 101 before you take 283, because 101 comes before 283. You should take 283 before you take 286. Again, 283 comes before 286. So that kind of helps you so that you can learn how to read your course schedules. Now looking down here, this is going to help you even further, because if your prefix or if your digit starts with a 1, it is typically meant for freshman level students. If it's a 2, it's a sophomore level class. If it's a 3, it's typically you take it in your junior year, it's a junior level. And 4 is a senior level. Now, if you come across a 5 or above, that's for graduate school, and you will not take any of those classes until you go to grad school. But by then, you won't need my instruction, because you would have already done 4 years of college, and hopefully you've figured out how to read a course description by then. So, number 3 here is the actual name or the title of the course. So for this, English 283 is Introduction to Creative Writing, which I actually took in college, and it was so much fun. But this will be whatever it is. It could be Introduction to Biology, Introduction to Physiology, whatever. So that is what that is. Let's see. Oops. Back there. Okay. Alright, so here for this catalog they have little stars. And so this star right here, it tells you that the course meets your general education requirements. So later on, when you will find that you have to take some electives in your general ed, or you have a choice between like 5 different lab sciences, if it has a little asterisk, a little star there, that means that it is a general ed requirement, and you could use it to take one of your general eds. Alrighty, I'm gonna skip to number 6. Actually, I'm going to skip to number 7, because that is more important. Number 7 is your credit assigned to the course. So, most classes that we see in college level is 3 credit hours. It does not mean that every day you're going to go to class for 3 hours. It basically, 1 credit is usually interpreted as 1 hour of class work per week, or 2 or 4 hours of lab work per week. So that's what that means. Break that down a little bit further. So if you have a science class that is 4 credit hours, generally what it's saying that you will have 3 hours worth of coursework that week and 1 hour worth of lab. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. There are some classes that are 1 credit hour. And it doesn't make a lot of sense until you actually start figuring out how many credit hours you need to graduate. And then when you start looking for classes to fulfill those needs, then you'll start looking at how many credit hours they are. But to begin off with, most of your classes are going to be a 3 or 4 if it's a lab course, of course. So you won't be taking a 1 credit hour unless it's an internship or something like that.